All right, today we're gonna tear apart a ghost story that is seriously chilling. But we're not just here for the jump scares, right? We're gonna look at how it scares us. We'll break it down moment by terrifying moment to really see what makes a simple tale like this so unbelievably effective.
And get this, it all starts right here. Not with something you see, but with something you smell. This one line, it puts you completely on edge right away. It's an absolute masterclass in building atmosphere, you know? It's telling you something is deeply, deeply wrong before you even have a clue what's going on. It's like a promise of a dark history just hanging in the air.
So, every great ghost story has a few key rules. And rule number one, isolation. And this story, man, it starts with the perfect setup. You've got a lone traveler, a crazy storm, and a road that just vanishes.
Okay, so let's meet our guy, Raghu. He's just on a simple trip, trying to beat a storm on his bike. And that's what makes him so relatable, and more importantly, so vulnerable. He's just a regular person, you know, suddenly up against this massive force of nature.
And this storm, it's not just background noise. Oh no, it's a character in itself, a real antagonist. It's blinding him, it's washing the path away, it's stripping him of any sense of direction. And it's right at that moment, when he's at his most desperate, when he finally has to admit he's lost, that's when the real story kicks off.
And then, right on cue, a voice cuts through the storm. A guy named Ratan just appears, out of nowhere. So is he a savior? Is he a guide? The story dangles this idea of a lifeline, and this is the first huge turn in what's about to become a total nightmare.
So, Ratan offers him shelter in a tea shop nearby. But as we get into this next part, that feeling of safety, it starts to feel, well, wrong. The sanctuary starts to feel a whole lot more like a trap.
Okay, this is where the story really starts to build suspense, with all these little unsettling details, that feeling of the uncanny. Just look at this list. A tea shop in the middle of nowhere, a lantern flame that somehow doesn't flicker in a storm, and the hosts, Ratan and his wife Jumar, who are just creepy quiet. They're just watching. Every single one of these details is like a tiny crack in reality, and it makes Raghu, and us, start to question everything.
Then, the unease just skyrockets with this really sharp, terrifying sensory detail. The wife, Jumar, offers Raghu a betel leaf, and boom, the air is suddenly thick with the smell of raw blood. We've gone from just strange to definitely dangerous.
And then we get the first truly horrifying image. A gust of wind blows, her headscarf slips, and for just a split second, Raghu sees it. This awful bloody line right across her throat. She covers it up fast, but wow, that image is burned into his brain. This is the first solid proof that something is terribly, supernaturally wrong here.
So Raghu, totally exhausted, finally crashes, but he's jolted awake by this nightmare. A man is hanging from the rafters right above him. He cries out, but Ratan is already outside, acting all casual, just brushing it off. So what was it? A dream? Or was it a warning? At this point, the line between nightmare and reality is just gone.
Ratan can see that Raghu is shaken up, so he decides to tell him a story to pass the time. And this story within a story, it's the absolute heart of the whole narrative. It's where the chilling mystery of this tea shop is finally laid bare.
Yeah, he just says, "Let me tell you a story from 3 years ago." And with that, he starts telling this local tragedy, this tale of love, betrayal, and bloody revenge that happened on the very spot where they're sitting.
This timeline here lays it all out. So Ratan talks about the original owner, his beautiful wife, and her affair with a regular customer named Shankar. Well, the husband comes home early, catches them, and in a blind rage, he kills his wife, hangs her lover from the rafters, and then sets the whole hut on fire, dying in the blaze. And suddenly, all those creepy details, the hanging man from the dream, that burnt smell, the wife's wound, it all just clicks into place. Chilling. All right, so dawn breaks, the storm finally passes, and with it comes this huge but totally false sense of relief. You think the nightmare is over. Raghu is obviously freaked out, but he's just glad the night is over. He gets ready to leave, doesn't even bother to wake his hosts. All he can think about is getting as far away from that creepy place as he possibly can. But you know it's never that simple, right? In his rush, he makes that classic horror movie mistake. He forgot something important, his bag of money. And this is the choice, the one mistake that forces him to turn back, to go back and face the impossible truth of what he just lived through.
And here we go. This is the moment of the final gut punch reveal. This is where the veil isn't just lifted, it's ripped away, and the supernatural truth comes crashing down on our guy.
So when Raghu gets back, the tea shop isn't there. It's gone. In its place, like you see in this stark comparison, is nothing but the charred, burnt-out shell of a hut. It was clearly destroyed years ago. The shelter, the tea, the people he talked to, none of it was real. And as he's standing there, his mind just reeling, a voice cuts through the morning air. A voice he knows. It's Jamar, but this time, she's not hiding anything. Her headscarf is gone, revealing the full horror of that wound. She's just standing there, in the middle of the ruins, holding out his bag. It's the final, terrifying confirmation. Raghu just screams and collapses, his mind literally breaking under the weight of it all.
And that leaves us with this final, haunting thought. I mean, the ghosts, they weren't exactly evil, were they? They gave him shelter, they gave him food, they even returned his money. So it leaves us with this really chilling question to think about. What's the real price of accepting kindness from the dead?